You are good, you are great, you are bigger than today. It's okay, make mistakes and find your way. Sing it with me this time. You are good, you are great, you are bigger than today. It's okay, make mistakes and find your way. Come on, let's encourage somebody. You are good, you are good, you are bigger than today. It's okay, make mistakes and find your way. One more time. 'Cause you are good, but we're all growing, so you just keep growing right along. You live your story in all of its glory, 'cause you belong. We're not all knowing, but we're all growing, so you just keep growing right along. Just live your story in all of its glory, 'cause you belong. 'Cause you are good, you are great, you are bigger than today. So it's okay, make mistakes and find your way. 'Cause you are good, you are great, you are bigger than today. So it's okay, make mistakes and find your way. 'Cause you are good, you are great, you are bigger than today. It's okay, find your way, make mistakes. You are good, you are great, you are bigger than today. So it's okay, make mistakes and find your way. We're not all knowing, but we're all growing, so you just keep growing right along. You live your story in all of its glory, 'cause you belong. We're not all knowing, but we're all growing, so you just keep growing right along. Just live your story in all of its glory, 'cause you belong. 'Cause you are good, you are great, you are bigger than today. It's okay, make mistakes and find your way. 'Cause you are good, you are great, you are bigger than today. It's okay, make mistakes and find your way. Thank you this morning. Where are all the good people when the world is in need? What do good people do? Good people stand up. Where are all the good people when the world is in need? What do good people do? Good people stand up. Where are all the good people when the world is in need? good people at? Where are all the people? Stand up. Good people.
Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Sessions. I'm your host, Darante LaMar, and I'm honored to be here welcoming you to a new year, a new month, and a new series. If you're new here, we are Bridge City, a forward-thinking, people-centric community of individuals committed to connecting better, building better, and living better. Wherever you are in the world or wherever you are on your journey, we're creating space and opportunity for you to connect and build with others while growing at your own pace and in your own direction. We're not waiting on the future to imagine better community. We're practicing it now. We're building bridges to better understanding, deeper empathy, and more honest connection so people everywhere can reclaim their authentic existence and contribute to the world on their own terms. Every Sunday, we gather to celebrate our humanity while engaging conversations that strengthen our capacity to be the bridges to better. We're currently in our Life's Big Questions series, inspired by one of our campus clubs. And all month long, we're tackling the big questions about life, fear, identity, and certainty. What better way to kick off the new year than to face those hard questions with new frameworks of freedom and the language of liberation? If you've been looking for community where people are the point, you found it. We are connected by our shared humanity, regardless of beliefs, creeds, or backgrounds. We are a global community of people, no labels needed. So whether this is your first time here or you've been part of the bridge for a while, welcome in. My hope is that something in this weekend's experience provides connection for your life, clarity for your mind, and comfort for your authentic self. Before we get into today's conversation, let's check into Bridge City News.
Hey, Bridge City, happy Sunday, or whatever it is, whatever day it is on your side of the world. My name is Bob Swanson. I'm here to give you a look at what's happening across our community. There's a lot growing, shifting, and unfolding, and I want to make sure you're in the loop. Now, if you're in the Los Angeles or Atlanta area, it's time to build the bridge in your city. We're actively looking for leaders, hosts, and team members who are ready to be the bridge by providing a better way to connect, build, and live for your local community. What does that look like? Well, it looks like meeting and working with a local team to host weekly Sunday session watch parties in alignment with the global campus as you introduce others to the mission of Bridge City and the heart of your team. Beyond that, as your community grows, the sky's the limit. The global team will be with you every step of the way, providing support on Sundays, training for teams, templates for systems, and even licensing your leaders as you navigate launching your campus. If you're ready for a challenge that will create change in your city, this opportunity is perfect for you. Introduce yourself on the global campus, let us know which city you're in and how you're ready to help. That introduction is your entry point. And P.S., the Los Angeles crew is already meeting monthly for local mixers and virtual roundtables, so now is the perfect time to join the party. Speaking of watch parties, regardless of where you are in the world, if you're wanting to bring Bridge City to your home or city with a Sunday session watch party, we'd love to support you. If you have space, a screen, and a few people in mind to invite, you're a perfect candidate to put your city on the map. We can help with planning, promotion, and everything in between. Just introduce yourself on the global campus and send a message to our head of community, Ashley Wilmore. Now, mark your calendars for the first Sunday in February. We're going to be watching Idiocracy together. Did you ever hear that movie? What started as absurd comedy has quietly aged into social commentary. It's funny until it's familiar. A film about anti-intellectualism, corporate overreach, and leadership by spectacle feels, well, a little too close to home in a world where policy can shift culture overnight. Come laugh, come think, come sit with the uncomfortable question of how close ridiculous is to real. And most importantly, come and breathe and enjoy the chaos together. The RSVP is open. Now, if you're new here and wondering how to get connected with our community, follow the link on the screen to meet us on our global campus. It's a virtual space where our members from around the planet gather to connect to the mission and each other. There are clubs, events, and activities that you can plug into and start building new friendships while helping building community together. The most important first step is, of course, introducing yourself. It helps us to get to know you, and it helps you feel like you're entering a real community, not a comment section. So, as soon as you can, head to the new member introductions area. Say hey. Now, if you've been hanging around for a while and are ready to help shape the Sunday experience, here are the clubs where you can plug in. Weekend Warriors. That's helping out on the stage or in chat on Sundays. There's also the Comms Club. That's helping out with community emails and social media content. Of course, you can always join the Production Club. That helps with the production of Sunday sessions. These teams turn ideas into reality, and we'd love to see more of you step into the mix. Now, if Sunday session content just isn't enough for you, feel free to check out some recently released videos. Darante LaMar came and spoke on the Mississippi State University campus back in October. Videos from his presentation, Confessions of an Ex-Pastor, and the discussion audience question and answer that followed are now available. And if you're a student looking for secular community, check out the Secular Student Alliance. They can help you build a bridge on your campus. That's everything for this week. This is a great opportunity to share the stream before the conversation starts. And if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you for being the bridge. Let's get to the conversation. Back to you, Darante.
Wow, thank you so much, man. We have such an incredible team. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy MLK weekend. It's so great to see you all here. So great to see you all active in the chat. Because it's MLK weekend, I felt like I had to, in the cultural tradition of African Americanism, I had to go ahead and suit up, So again, happy Sunday. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Zernial. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, team. I am so overwhelmed in gratitude for everything that this team is evolving to be and the work that we're getting done, man. And I hope y'all are excited to be here today. Listen, we started something new last week. So listen, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time at a Bridge City Sunday session, we have something special for you. You can go to the link on the screen and we have a gift for you. You go to the link on the screen and you get your gift. And I know some of y'all are like, wait a minute, I've been coming for a minute and I ain't never got no gift. Well, listen, go ahead and get yours for the first time. Just pretend like this is the first time, like it's the very first time. Everybody don't get that reference, but somebody's going to get that one. But no, if this is your first time here, we want to show you our appreciation. We want to put something in your hands. It's a very helpful guide, and I think you're going to love it. I'm so excited. I feel like somebody just caught the joke. I feel like somebody just caught it. I cannot wait till we're all in a building together to talk about these things, because man, we're going to have a good time. But yes, that link is in the chat now, and it's also on the screen. If this is your first time here, we like to show you some appreciation, show you our gratitude with a little bit of a gift, man, and to just kind of introduce you to what it means to connect better. And before I jump into today's conversation, I want to say, man, for those of you who are watching, if you have not visited the global campus yet, you need to get in there. That thing is like, it's under construction now. So we have all types of things rolling out in there. We got a welcome center now. We got an event center now. So you make sure you get in there, introduce yourself and all of that good stuff, right? Yeah, just what I wanted, a PDF. I know it. I love it. I love y'all so much. All right. So we've been in this new series for the past 3 weeks. Today marks week 3. And the name of this series is Life's Big Questions. We've been talking about this for a while now, and it's basically, how do you deal with life in a post-religious context, post-faith context? You're no longer leaning on supernaturalism or superstition. You're just trying to deal with life as is. And so how do you wrestle with life's big questions after you walk away? And that's what we've been dealing with for this whole series. But today is MLK weekend. And so we're going to stay in series. I'm not going to get out of pocket. We're going to stay in series. But man, I have an exciting conversation for us today on this idea of morality and of ethics, and even what is right and what is wrong. So let's jump into this. In the aftermath of the public killing of Renee Good on the weekend, and on the weekend that we traditionally celebrate Dr. King, I find it relevant to wrestle with the question of goodness. Losing your faith while simultaneously seeing people lose their lives can undoubtedly, for anyone, create a crisis of goodness. Like when you really think about it, what does it mean to be good? What does your goodness mean to Renee Good? I want you to think about that. The question isn't if we can be good without God. And that seems to be where the question has been for the longest. Can we be good without God? That's not really the question anymore. The question is, what does it even mean to be good? Period. What does it mean to be good, and what does your goodness mean to Renee Good? Is goodness just about how I feel about myself? Is it just the nice things other people say about me? Is goodness the same as politeness? What does it mean to be good? I can remember coming to a place in my life where I removed the word good from my personal vocabulary because I realized that my understanding of good was misleading me. I was making good decisions that were leading to bad outcomes. So what I did was, and I'm just talking about me, I ain't saying you got to do the same thing. I'm just talking about what I did now. But what I did was I traded goodness for beneficial. I traded good for beneficial. How does this benefit, and who does this benefit? I had to make goodness mean something in order for it to be useful in my life. So before we can even ask, can we be good? We need to have a collective understanding of what it even means to be good. Because some would say that goodness is politeness, kindness, gentleness, meekness. And I would argue that none of those are necessary for goodness. If you think that's what goodness is, you've been had. Oh, I say, and I say it again, you've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, and run amok. Goodness is not politeness, it's rightness. I felt like I need to say that again. Goodness is not politeness, it's rightness. And sometimes right ain't polite. I wish I had a community out there. If I'm talking good already, can I get a hell yeah in the chat? If the question is, what does it mean to be good? Then the implication is that by virtue, goodness must mean something. So if I'm good, what does goodness mean for me? What does that goodness mean for my children? How do I make that goodness mean something to my neighbors? What exactly does that goodness mean to my enemies or my would-be oppressors? If I'm good, what does it mean to be good? What does it mean to Renee Good? What does my goodness mean to anybody else? In today's conversation, we're not just reclaiming goodness, morality, and ethics in a post-religious context. We're also learning how to make those things mean something so that we are never again wearing empty badges of shallow honor. As a critical thinker, if I'm going to be anything, it's going to have to mean something. So in order to explore the question of what it means to be good, we're going to have to ground the question in a much clearer question. And here's our title for today's talk: what do good people do? What do good people do? Because so often we ask, can we be good without God? Can we be good without religion? Can we be good without superstition? Can we be good without believing in a higher power. But now the real question is, what does it even mean to be good? And what it means isn't based off of what you feel, it is based off of what you do. So at the end of the day, the real question is, what do good people do? A modern quote, which is often misattributed as a misquote, but popularly known and contemporarily relevant, is the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I ask the question again, what do good people do? The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The actual quote is, bad men need nothing more to compass their ends than that good men should look on and do nothing. This was made by John Stuart Mill in an inaugural address delivered at the University of St. Andrews in 1867. Now, the quote describes passive failures. It basically says evil doesn't require superior strength, intelligence, or numbers. It only requires that those who could resist remain isolated, silent, or inactive. Again, the question is, what do good people do? Doing nothing here doesn't mean just apathy. It often means acting alone, privately, and without coordination. The emphasis is on inaction through fragmentation. Now, the original version is actually accredited to Edmund Burke in 1770. Burke wrote the following passage and thoughts on the cause of the present discontents. It said, when bad men combine, the good must associate, else they will fall, one by one, an unpitied sacrifice in a contemptible struggle. It identifies the asymmetry, that harmful forces organize. Ethical individuals often remain separate. Harmful forces organize. Ethical individuals often remain separate. Now, the problem is not that good people lack conviction. It's that they lack association. Alone, even principled people are ineffective. And I need y'all to hear me clearly out there. This may be the most important talk that I've given. You can go ahead and take that one off the screen. This may be the most important talk that I've given. Alone, even principled people are ineffective. Together, even weaker forces can resist coordinated harm. Together, they form a cause and effect loop. Evil triumphs when good people do nothing. Good people do nothing because they are unorganized. Evil organizes by default. Good must choose to associate. Okay, so now why does evil organize by default? Because the universe leans towards chaos, and evil is already leaning in that direction. So chaos thrives in the oversimplification of complexity. Good is a response, not a default. It's the response to the reality that we are all vulnerable to the chaos of the world that we live in. Goodness, and if you're a note taker, this is something good to write down. Goodness is intentional conversion of chaos into complexity in response to the reality of entropy. I'm going to say it again because I want you to get that one in your head. Goodness is the intentional conversion of chaos into complexity in response to the reality of entropy. It is the reality that bad things are going to happen, whether bad intentions are behind them or not, and it takes preemptive participation to make any difference at all, which means if we're going to make a difference, we can't always make a difference in reaction. At some point, we're going to have to wake up and realize that bad things are always happening, even when there are no bad intentions behind them. And so eventually we have to organize around preemptive strategy. Entropy is the natural tendency of systems to drift toward disorder unless energy is deliberately applied. In social systems, entropy looks like this. It looks like fragmentation. It looks like silence. It looks like drift. It looks like private concern without coordination. In other words, it looks like good people acting alone. This is why the quote, evil trumps when good men do nothing, is often misunderstood. It's not about laziness, it's about entropy. Some of the hardest workers I know are working in the wrong direction because they think complexity is the bug, not realizing that complexity is the feature. I'm talking better than y'all are responding. Left unorganized, even good intentions decay into ineffectiveness. Evil doesn't need to be smarter or stronger. It just needs to let entropy do the work. It depends on the fragmentation of people who are preoccupied with the illusion of personal virtue. Since isolation and fragmentation are the default state of human systems, that's entropy. Which brings us to our first point today. What do good people do? Good people recognize and respond to chaos. So the first quote we hit names the outcome. The second quote names the solution. But since it's King weekend, I feel like I gotta talk about Dr. King a little bit. All right. So Burke's insight, watch this. Burke names the problem, King builds the solution. Burke's insight is that evil prevails when good people are isolated, inactive, or unorganized. Morality without association collapses under coordinated harm. King's response is that moral righteousness must be organized, visible, and collective, or it is politically and socially ineffective. So King did not preach goodness as a private virtue. He treated it as a public force that only works when people associate. So this brings us back to our first question. What does it mean to be good? In this context, being good is not about purity. It's not about belief or personal virtue. To be good means to recognize harm accurately and refuse to normalize it. Goodness is not innocence. It is awareness paired with responsibility. Oh, this is good. A good person is not someone who holds correct beliefs. A good person is not someone who feels the right emotions or someone who just avoids wrongdoing personally. That is what you owe to yourself. Goodness is what we owe to others and the world we occupy. A good person is someone who sees how harm is produced systemically, understands that neutrality maintains the status quo, and refuses to confuse silence with morality. This is why Dr. King rejected the idea that goodness was private. For him, goodness was relational and public. It existed in how people responded to injustice together, not how they felt about it alone. So, in plain terms, goodness is the willingness to take responsibility for shared conditions, not just personal behavior. Dang, that's good. To be good is to act as an organizing force against entropy in human systems. Goodness is not purity, it's participation. Oh, shoot, that's good. Goodness is not how pure I am. It's what am I participating with? You know what? I know everybody wants to see the world become a better place, but how many people are participating in making the world a better place? I know you good and I know you nice, but you just existing by default is not helping. Oh, damn. Have you ever wanted to say that to somebody, that being here is not the same thing as being helpful? And that's where you find the line of goodness at. Once you realize that being here is not the same as being helpful. Man, if I'm preaching good, can I get a hell yeah? Being here is not the same as being helpful. Goodness is not about my purity. It's about my participation. What am I participating with? And how is that participation contributing to the society that I live in? Goodness is structure building. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Goodness is not purity, it's participation, it's structure building. King rejected doing nothing as moral neutrality. King repeatedly warned that passivity is not innocent. Okay? No. Passive, not being involved is not a free pass. Passivity is not innocence. His most famous formulation was that the ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people. I got to read that again. If you're a note taker, put it in your notes. If you don't take notes, take your phone out and take a picture of it to make sure that you don't forget it. The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people. What is today's question? What do good people do? See, that's Burke's first quote, translated into the moral language. That's what I'm talking about. Translated into the moral language of civil rights. For King, silence equals participation in injustice. If I'm silent about it, if I'm not active about it, I'm participating in injustice. Neutrality equals alignment with the status quo. Dang. And waiting equals choosing the oppressor's timeline. This is exactly what Burke meant by good men doing nothing. When bad men combine, the good men must associate. When bad people combine, good people must associate. This is King's organizing philosophy. This line is pure King in practice. King understood that segregation was organized, that racism was institutional, that injustice was coordinated. So, in response to that, not in reaction, in response to that, and again, I say, not in reaction, but in response to that, goodness has to be organized, disciplined, and visible. Which brings me to my second point of today's conversation. Are you ready? Good people associate as a responsibility. Good people associate as a responsibility. What do good people do? Good people associate as a responsibility. They come together, they pull it together. Harambe. Good people associate as a responsibility. King didn't believe that moral truth persuades by itself. He believed moral truth must be embodied by people acting together. In other words, you got to make your goodness mean something. Okay? King explicitly criticized the idea that being personally good was enough. And often when we talk about goodness, that's all we talking about. Am I a good person? What does it mean for you to be a good person? In King's viewpoint, a good heart without action was insufficient. A good belief without risk was hollow. And a good individual without community was powerless. Good individual without community, powerless. This is why he emphasized churches acting together, coalitions across differences, taking on shared sacrifice and public confrontation of unjust systems, not just individual confrontations. What sometimes bothers me now is that even in our gathering, we're individualized. So even when we're protesting, we're not protesting as a unit. We're just random individuals who just met at the same place at the same time with no intentions of being connected anymore beyond this moment. And I'm here to tell you, hey, that won't work. King understood what Burke implied. Individual virtue cannot defeat collective harm. Individual virtue cannot defeat collective harm. Your goodness by yourself doesn't give you no superpowers. I don't care how big your heart is. You can't do the Care Bear stance and make your heart save the world. Individual virtue cannot defeat collective harm. If the harm is coming from a group, then the solution has to come from a group. Man, I will take that Dave Chappelle reference. That is hilarious. All right, so while we're here, I have to recommend two books for you. I have two recommended books for you this weekend. All right, and I think this is a good place to drop them. The first recommended book is Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? It always amazes me how many people who quote Dr. King who don't know Dr. King. This is a great book to get to know Dr. King. And where do we go from here? Chaos or Community? Dr. King frames the future as a moral crossroads. Humanity must choose between continued fragmentation or intentional association. He argues that chaos is not accidental. It emerges when societies cling to private virtue while ignoring shared responsibility. I got to say that part again. He argues that chaos is not accidental. Jalapeno. It emerges when societies cling to private virtue. I'm good by myself, while ignoring shared responsibility. I don't need community. Oh, man. King insists that moral progress cannot be achieved through personal goodness alone. It requires organized collective action that confronts structural injustice directly. Community for King is not passive harmony, but coordinated commitment, the deliberate construction of social systems rooted in justice, dignity, and mutual care. Without this choice, he warns, entropy wins, inequality deepens, violence normalizes, and silence becomes complicity. With it, humanity gains the capacity to convert moral insight into collective power and shared survival. The question is, where do we go from here? Chaos or community? And it's presented that way because those are the only two options. The options are chaos or community. The options are chaos or complexity. The options are chaos or organization. When bad men combine, good must associate. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? Oh, this is good. The other book that I wanted to give you, the next book that I wanted to give you is called Community, The Structure of Belonging. And I actually have this one in my personal possession. Just picked it up yesterday. My family and I went to Second and Charles looking for a book for my son. Didn't find the book, but found a book for me. And actually, I'm gonna I didn't plan to do this, but I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna read something out of it that made me say, yes, I have to put this in my reading repertoire. Watch this. By the way, and I just have to drop this because for all of our leaders, I'm putting together a booklet now, an ebook called Love People. Oh, love. Oh, y'all ain't ready for where we about to go. But listen to this. Listen to this. And listen, for anybody who wants to be a leader, this is required reading. Like, I ain't saying you got to agree with everything in it, but this is required reading. Watch this. This book is for all those who are willing to take a leadership role that affirms the conviction that without a willingness to be accountable for our part in creating a strong and connected community, our desire to reduce suffering and increase happiness in the world becomes infinitely more difficult to fulfill. I have to read that part again, okay? So if we're willing to take a leadership role that affirms the convictions that without a willingness to be accountable for our part without a willingness to be accountable for our part in creating a strong and connected community, our desire to reduce suffering and increase happiness in the world becomes infinitely more difficult to fulfill. Which means I don't care how much you really love people. If you're not connecting in community, it's making it infinitely more difficult to reduce harm and increase happiness. Does that make sense? So again, in community, the structure of belonging, Peter Block argues that the solution to fragmentation, isolation, and social breakdown is not better leadership, it's not stronger control, nor clearer ideology. Everybody thinks they need a better ideology. Everybody thinks they need a better mission. Everybody else, you think you need a reason to do the thing, and the reason to do the thing is staring you right in the face, and that is because people matter. He says it's not better leadership, stronger control, or clearer ideology, but intentionally designed belonging. Block frames community as a structural achievement, not a feeling. It is created when people are invited into shared ownership, accountability, and authorship of their collective future. He rejects the myth that change comes from fixing problems or persuading individuals in private, instead insisting that transformation emerges when people gather, speak honestly, and commit to one another in public. Belonging in this sense is not about agreement or sameness. It's about choosing association over isolation and participation over spectatorship. Without this structure, societies drift toward entropy, fear, blame, and disconnection. With it, ordinary people become a coherent force capable of converting shared values into sustained collective action. Those are those 2 book recommendations for today. All right, I hope y'all got that. So, chaos doesn't just mean randomness, it means high sensitivity without coordination. In chaotic systems, many elements are active, many forces are present, but there is no stable pattern of alignment. This maps perfectly onto what we call good people doing nothing. In all actuality, in reality, they're doing many things. Okay, they are doing many things. They're feeling deeply, they're acting locally, they're thinking privately, maybe even helping individually, but it still resolves to good people doing nothing. Because without association, these actions remain chaotic. They have no connection, no point of interaction, no compounded effect. That's what you're robbing your, there it is. Community compounds your impact. All right. Like one thing we've been talking about in the leadership meetings of Bridge City is finding a way to move people from interest to involvement, and then helping them understand how involvement generates impact. Because what really happens is community compounds your ability to impact. All right. My $10 can help somebody. But if we all put $10 in a bucket, all of a sudden we can help more people than one of us could have ever imagined. Community compounds your impact. Oh my goodness. Okay. Chaos is not the absence of action, it's the absence of coherence. We're all acting, but nobody's acting together. So when Burke says good people fall one by one, he's describing a chaotic system where individuals are overwhelmed by a coordinated force. Individuals overwhelmed because the force you're going against is coordinated. You know, to pull a flashback from a previous Sunday session, you need to learn how to squad up. You mean to tell me you've been living this whole time, this long, after everything you've been through, and you still haven't learned the power of a squad? You still ain't learned the power of a community? You still out here like Scrappy Doo trying to fight everything on your own? Let me at him. Let me at him. No, baby, you need to squad up and get you a community, because what's happening right now is that the individuals are being overwhelmed by the coordination of the groups. I hope that's good. Habanero. The deeper connection is that visibility breaks the illusion. Burke warns that good people fall one by one, an unpitied sacrifice. King's genius was realizing that isolation makes suffering invisible. You know, isolation makes suffering invisible. The more you isolate yourself, the more invisible your issue becomes. The more you isolate yourself, visibility creates moral crisis. Now it's not just your problem. Now it's everybody's problem. Association converts private pain into public reckoning. Now that's shoot. That was, I hate to do this because it's a controversial thing, but it is what it is, because it's a perfect example. That's what made the Me Too movement. Association converts private pain into public reckoning. That's what made the Me Too movement effective, because association converts private pain into public reckoning. Wait a minute, you went through this too? Hold on. And you done went through this too? Now wait a goddamn minute. Now you telling me you went through this too? And then you experienced the same thing? Association converts private pain into public reckoning. This is why the marches mattered. This is why the boycotts mattered. This is why the numbers mattered, but only after the numbers have been mobilized and organized in intentional association. Not to overpower, but to reveal scale. Burke diagnosed the danger of isolated goodness. Dr. King proved that organized goodness changes history. Or even more clearly, evil doesn't fear good people. It fears good people together. You can get as loud as you want to on your social media platform. As long as you are loud and alone, you are not a threat. That is the difference between activism and agitation. I challenge every activist to answer the question, what are you activating? And how is it getting activated? There is a difference between agitation and activism. Evil doesn't fear individuals agitating. It fears collectives getting active. Okay? Individuals agitating is nothing. It's not a threat, but communities activated. Oh my goodness, communities getting active. Okay, y'all. All right. Well, this already brings me back to point 3. So this is perfect. Our next point, I'm gonna drop it. We're gonna drop it right here. Good people build complex systems. What do good people do? They build complex systems. They build complex systems. They build. Some of you looking for an easy way out. I told you some of the hardest working people I know are working in the wrong direction because they're trying to avoid complexity. But good people build complex systems. That's one of the things that often, Creflo's my dollars, if you will, is when I see a lot of good people, but they're not building anything. And it's like, so your whole flex is you know how bad it is and can't do nothing about it. That's your whole flex. Like that's your whole MO. That's your whole modus operandi, is that you show up and tell everybody else how bad it is and yet can't do nothing about it. No, it takes intention. It takes hard work. And like this has been a part of the human experience ever since we've come into consciousness of who we are. To understand, like to defeat the chaos of hunger, we had to learn the complexity of agriculture. And for some of us, we have been hoodwinked, there's that word again, into thinking that shouting on the corner is the same as creating a solution. Some of us have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok. You've been had, you've been took into thinking that voting for the right candidate is the same as working on a solution. Good people don't pass the buck with prayer. They don't pass the buck with votes. Good people build complex systems. Complexity emerges when independent agents begin interacting, sharing information, and coordinating behavior. This is the moment where association changes everything. Complex systems don't defeat entropy by force, they defeat it by pattern formation. By pattern formation. Okay. Complex systems, they don't defeat entropy by force. Okay. Oh man. And I think sometimes that's where the conversation jumps the gun. Okay. I'm gonna give you some insight into Pan-Africanism real quick. All right. So Pan-Africanism is a movement that's typically correlated to Black nationalism. Black nationalism is the idea that Black people deserve, specifically Black nationalism, specifically African Americans deserve the right to self-determine, the right to self-govern. That's not a conversation that gets had a lot in the context of the United States. So that's where Black nationalism comes from. Pan-Africanism is the larger context of recognizing that historically Black people have been discriminated against and subjugated everywhere people have found us. And so there was a growing movement called Pan-Africanism where people were saying, you know what, I no longer just care about what's happening to the Black people in the country that I live in, but I now care about what's happening to the Black people everywhere. Okay, my journey to humanism came through Pan-Africanism. So now I now care about the Black folk in Barbados. I care about the Black folks in the Philippines. I care about the Black folks in Australia. So now that's Pan-Africanism. Okay. One of my greatest heroes that came out of that movement was by the name of Dr. John Henrik Clarke. And actually it's from a city not too far from the city that I live in today. And Dr. John Henrik Clarke's last speech before he died was called Pan-Africanism or Perish. And in that speech, he made one statement that I was like, oh man, that's just so good. Because he said, I think we may have shouted nation building too soon. And it was his way of reflecting on the entire Black Power movement. You know, I often tell people that there were two major movements going on in the 60s, the Black suffering movement and the Black Power movement. The Black suffering movement is mainly known as the civil rights movement. I call it the Black suffering movement because it promoted it promoted the imagery of Black suffering over anything else. You know what I'm saying? Black suffering versus Black power. The Black Power movement was about sustaining independence, getting self-governance, getting self-determination. But what Dr. Clark realized is that everybody had got so excited about the idea because the idea is shiny. The idea is good. Ooh, we get our own nation. It feels good. Yeah, we finally gonna get reparations. It feels good. But what does that goodness mean? And what he began to realize is that, dang, even if we got everything that we asked for, we wouldn't be able to sustain it because we hadn't done the work. And it was one of the hardest speeches he ever had to give. One of the hardest speeches he ever had to give. But it's the reality that no, good people build complex systems. Your problems are bigger than just an enemy. Your problems are bigger than just somebody attacking you. Your problems are bigger than just someone's bad intentions. You live in a chaotic world. And so good people recognize and respond to the chaos by building complexity. Goodness gracious, this is exactly what King understood intuitively and operationally. Marches weren't about numbers alone. Boycotts weren't about punishment. And organization wasn't about hierarchy. They were about making goodness a complex system instead of a chaotic one. So what do good people do? Good people associate. That's the missing piece in most moral conversations. I don't care how good you think you are. It does not matter. Your idea of personal goodness is as useless as the idea of personal holiness or the idea of personal righteousness. Right with who? Good with who? Good for who? You call yourself good and good for you, but what does your goodness do? Good people associate. Good people do not merely disapprove privately or disagree internally or just hope that things improve or just wait for permission or just remain civil while harm persists. Good people find each other. They compare notes. They organize their concern. They make their presence visible. They turn shared values into shared action. So these aren't just the things that we value together. These are the things that we act on together. These are the things that we work on together. This is what we do. This is exactly behind the logic. This is exactly the logic behind the Burke's quotes and Dr. King's life. Evil doesn't triumph because good people lack values. It triumphs because good people remain fragmented. Good people do not act alone when harm is organized. Can I say that again? Good people do not act alone when harm is organized. The harm is organized. You know, if the harm is organized, then good people acting alone is tokenized. You know what I'm saying? Like you see this big gorilla of a monster attacking you, and you got the choice to fight it by yourself or to fight it with a team. The moment you choose to take it on yourself, I'm going to be 100% real with you. I'm in coach mode right now. The moment you decide to take it on yourself, you're not even trying. At that moment, you just aura farming. You're just trying to look like the person who can handle it. But at that moment, you're ignoring all sense of reason. You know, it's like those people on Facebook who be sending posts to the president. That dude ain't gonna read that shit. Who are you talking to? When you could be talking to people, instead of spending so much time talking to your enemies, why do you not spend more time talking to people you could be building with? That reveals the true disingenuousness of most of us. You talking to people who ain't listening to you. You talking to people who ain't trying to hear you. Virtue signaling, as opposed to actually saying who's actually out here, who's trying to help. And I get it. Help isn't just about bringing bad people down. It's not just about tearing down bad systems. Somebody has to remain to rebuild. Good people build complex systems because people have to eat. People have to have somewhere to sleep. People, you knowing that people are hurting doesn't qualify you to help. Oh, man. Oh, jalapeno. This is good stuff, man. Good people do not act alone when harm is organized. Good people increase complexity. They associate, they share information, they create feedback loops, they make patterns visible, and they stabilize one another. They convert private doubt into shared understanding. They convert isolated concern into collective presence, chaotic goodness into coherent force. In systems language, evil exploits entropy. Goodness requires coordination. Here's my last point of the weekend. Good people make adjustments, not excuses. If you're looking for an excuse, you will always find one. Good people have to look past the excuses to find the adjustments that need to be made. Good people have to look past what hasn't been done and find ways to get it done. Good people make adjustments, not excuses. Good people look at the world through the lens of what is needed. What does the world need? When I mentor or counsel entrepreneurs, like one of the biggest questions that I like to ask them is, who needs your business? Who needs your product? And that question is designed to actually shed light on their origin story, you know, on the idea's origin story. How did you come up with this idea? Is this idea a response or is it a dream? Okay. And the goal is to get people to be very honest about that. Is it a response or is it a dream? Because if it's a dream, then 9 times out of 10, you don't even care how it helps other people. You just want it to work for you. And 9 times out of 10, that's why it fails. Because you've been hoodwinked into chasing your dreams. And that's not what sells. That's not what works. And that's not what builds. Like shit, you're going to have to stop being selfish at some point. You know, the businesses that do the best are the ones that look around at their community and say, what do people need? What is needed? What gap can I fill? What need can I supply? That's the key to business. I just gave y'all too much right there. Y'all ain't ready for this. All right. Good people look at the world through the lens of what is needed. It looks at the world as it is, not necessarily as it should be. What's up, Cuzzo? All the way from New York. It looks at the world as it is, not necessarily as it should be, in order to be what is needed. It looks at the world as it is. I realized I was messing up in life. Like I was honestly messing up my life because I kept expecting life to operate the way I thought it should. And I think it was like Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson who says the universe is under no obligation to make any sense to you. So I had to make the decision to stop trying to make the world make sense and start paying attention to what was really going on. Whole life changed. Whole life changed. Brother lost 400 pounds. Started paying attention to as the world was. And I said, you know what, damn, Darante, you're wasting your time because there is something that the world needs. Good people recognize that if there is something to be done, we are the ones to do it. If there's something to be done, we are the ones to do it. Evil wins by letting entropy run unchecked. Good loses when it remains chaotic and fragmented. Change happens when good people associate and form complexity, which means that community is not just moral. It's the thermodynamic resistance in social form. Goodness that remains private becomes functionally irrelevant. Ethics without coordination becomes symbolic. Virtue that refuses to associate becomes indistinguishable from inaction. The question we ask ourselves again is, how can you be good if you're not religious? How can you be good if you don't believe in a higher power? How can you be good if you don't believe in a God? How can you be good if you don't have any faith? And I say, I've known plenty of people who had God and still wasn't good. I know a whole country that has God and is rotten to the core. I've never seen somebody having God change what goodness is. So perhaps before we even ask, can I be good? Before we even ask, am I good? Do you think I'm good? We need to wrestle with, what does it actually mean to be good? And good isn't how we feel. Good is what we do. Good people don't be good. Good people do good. What does it even mean to want to be seen as good in a world overridden in harm? No, it's I'm not good till we good. See, that's what royalty is. Royalty is responsibility. I'm not good till we good. I'm not good until we good. Nobody made a greater mistake than those who did nothing because they could only do little. Man, that's really this conversation. If any part of this conversation landed today, it's because you can see how harm persists. And it's not because there aren't good people in the world, but it's because good people are scattered, isolated, and trying to remain virtuous alone in systems that respond to coordination. It ain't gonna respond to your right words. That's funny about like the Moorish and the Hebrew Israelite folks. They convince black folk that, oh, life is so bad because you're using the wrong words to describe yourself. That's not how life works. I want to say to everybody who's experiencing anything where you're like, I just don't understand why life is so hard. One of the reasons life feels harder than it should is because we're often doing it alone when we shouldn't be. But we've convinced ourselves that that's the only option, that's the only avenue. We've convinced ourselves that being scattered and being isolated and being disconnected from each other should be the norm. While we're completely breaking down, while we're completely losing ourselves, fighting over who's right and who's wrong while everybody's alone, starving for attention, trying to remain virtuous alone in systems that respond to coordination. And at some point, awareness stops being neutral. Private goodness is not enough for the world we're in. Subjective personal goodness is not enough. It's not relevant. It has no utility. You calling yourself good, you calling yourself better, you calling yourself anything means nothing if it can't mean something to your neighbor, if it can't mean something to the marginalized, if it can't mean something to the oppressed, if it can't mean something to those who don't have anything to eat, if it can't mean something to those who have no shoes on their feet, if it can't mean something to those who do not have shelter over their heads at night, then personal goodness means absolutely nothing. Private goodness is not enough for the world that we're in. Integrity without association doesn't resist entropy. It submits to it. Goodness was never meant to be a personal badge. It was always meant to be practiced, organized, and carried together. That's why Bridge City exists. Not as a refuge from responsibility, but as a place to accept it unapologetically and unashamedly. A place where people who see clearly stop standing alone, stop waiting for permission, and begin associating intentionally, without superstition, without coercion, and without pretending certainty that we don't have. So this isn't a casual invite. It's a challenge. If you're tired of watching good intentions dissolve into silence, if you're done mistaking isolation for integrity, if you believe that goodness has to mean something beyond how you feel about yourself, then step off the sidelines and get in the game of community. That's the challenge. That's the invite. It's to stop doing it alone. Get off the sidelines. Get in the game. Get involved. You are a powerful force. You are able to do so much. But together, our impact can be compounded. Together, we can change outcomes. Together, we can restore markets. Together, we have to get off the sidelines. This is your invitation to join a community that's already working together, that's already doing life together. Join the global campus, enter the member journey, bring your voice to the conversations, your energy to the teams, your responsibility into the shared space, not because we have all the answers, because we don't, but because nothing that resists harms, builds complexity, or changes history is ever done alone. Bridge City is where goodness stops being private and starts becoming effective. If you're making the decision to connect today, let us know in the chat and follow the link on the screen. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to feel alone. If you're wondering what do good people do, the answer is right before you now. Good people associate. Good people join community. Good people get into the work. Good people get in the game. good people step off the sidelines and get involved. And we've made it easier for you. So if you're making that decision to connect today, let us know in the chat and follow the link on the screen. To everyone who joined us today, I hope we get to see you next weekend as we close this series out. The final message in this series is going to be called I'm Done with Pretending. That's going to be a conversation dealing with finding purpose, meaning, and existence in a post-faith context. So thank you for joining me this weekend. I hope to see you again next weekend. And listen, if you're making the decision to connect today, let us know in the chat. We want to know you. When you join the local campus, follow the link on the screen. Make sure you introduce yourself. Our team is still young. We're still growing, but eventually you won't be able to join without somebody finding a way to contact you, love on you, and just make you feel good about your decision. We're growing by leaps and bounds, and it is empowering us to make a difference. Community compounds impact. I love y'all so much. Now it's time for the outro.
What another great session today. You got to tell us what your favorite takeaway was from today's conversation. Make sure to leave it in the comments or keep the conversation going on our global campus in the commons space. Speaking of, if you're making the decision to join Bridge City today, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Bridge. We're so glad to have you be a part of our growing community and can't wait for you to get involved. Your first step is to click the link on the screen now. From there, you can join our global campus and take your first steps as a new member. Once you're in, we made the path to connection easy with brief learning tracks about our campus as well as our mission. By the time you finish your first steps, you'll know more about your new community and how to plug in and begin making a difference. So if you're ready to join, click the link now, get access to member-only content, conversations, clubs, and even courses. We can't wait to welcome you. For everyone else, if you value these conversations and believe in the work we're trying to do as a global community, let's pause for an opportunity of generosity. Your giving helps make this space accessible, sustainable, and growing. It empowers our bridges to not only reach further, but support more people on the journey. With very little support, we've already accomplished so much. We've impacted hundreds of lives through these sessions, live events, and now with our global campus. Imagine how much more we could be doing, supporting, and promoting with your consistent financial support. Your weekly or monthly support, large or small, empowers us to establish new spaces, train new leaders, and power new projects that move people forward. That's what Bridge City is all about. The donation link and QR code are on the screen now for anyone who is willing and able to make a statement of support today. We appreciate all of our financial supporters because you help make this possible. And finally, don't keep this to yourself. A bridge is only as effective as the places it reaches. Help us reach new places by sharing this experience with someone and showing them that there's life after uncertainty. Together, we can reach the world.
What an incredible weekend, right? Thank you so much for joining us for the Life's Big Question series. To our visitors, I hope we get a chance to welcome you again next weekend. The first time, you're a visitor. Your second visit, you're a guest. And if you come back a third time, you're as good as family. To our members, make sure to stay updated on events and activities by checking the commons, the clubs, and the calendar of the global campus. That's all for today, Bridge City. Have a people-centric, forward-thinking kind of week. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
is up to you. I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever it is you choose. Whatever you want is up to you. Imagine what happens if you put your whole all into it. No matter the circumstance, you never allowed yourself to quit. Imagine what happens if you put your whole all into it. No matter the circumstance, you never allowed yourself to quit. 'Cause I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever it is you choose. Whatever you want is up to you.